on a swivel, over and out. The column had turned onto Kyffhäuserstraße, Kyffhäuser Road by then. The normally busy street was empty, except for a stray dog, and a helter-skelter maze of shot-up military vehicles abandoned by both sides. As the striker took an off-ramp, Quinn's eyes were drawn to the makeshift cemetery located at the center of the traffic loop. Some of the homemade markers were white and bore names. Others were little more than branches thrust down into the soil. Civilians, for the most part, since military units were likely to take their dead with them. The striker's formal designation was 1-1, but for some reason the American contingent referred to the truck as Bambi. Bambi rocketed forward and back as the Vic's driver steered her over a series of curbs and onto a swath of green that paralleled the Rhine. Quinn could see the vehicle the Brits called Old Blighty parked up ahead, and that was the rig that Atkins was riding in. Quinn thumbed her mic. "This is Echo 6. Echo 7 will establish a defensive perimeter. Over and out." Echo 7 was Second Lieutenant Tom Hollis, a 90-day wonder, who entered the Army with 2 years of college and a persistent skin condition. The current casualty rate for junior officers in the European theater was 72%. That suggested that, like so many others, Hollis wasn't likely to see his 21st birthday. Quinn knew that Hollis had no frigging idea of how to set a perimeter, but she also knew that Sergeant Riley, who was riding in 1-2, would show the lad how, and provide the boy with excellent advice if she were killed. Because, like it or not, Hollis was her XO, executive officer, and would assume command. Quinn was standing on a bench-style seat just behind the crew compartment. She ducked down into the cargo area, paused to thank the 2-person crew, and followed Sergeant Tyson out into the rain. Thank God for Gore-Tex. Engines roared, hydraulics whined, and clods of dirt flew as the rest of the Vics arrived, turned, and awaited further instructions. Besides the strikers, Quinn's command included 2 British Warrior infantry fighting vehicles, 1 French Nexter, and a German Puma. It was armed with a Eurospike missile launcher, and that made the Puma the heaviest weapon in Quinn's arsenal, even if the missiles weren't effective beyond 4,000 meters. Tyson led the soldiers under his command west to take up positions facing town. Quinn turned east and made her way toward the river. A water-filled mortar pit was located to her left. It was a good spot, since a clutch of well-aimed tubes could inflict a lot of damage on any boat foolish enough to attack from upstream. There were fighting positions, too, all partially filled with water and surrounded by halos of litter. A beautiful spot when the sun was out, but a dismal shithole on that particular day. Quinn stopped next to a park bench and looked down on the Rhine. It had many names. The Rhenus, Latin, the Rhine, German, the Reno, Spanish, and more. Quinn knew that the river originated in Switzerland and flowed in a mostly northerly direction through Germany and the Netherlands before joining the North Sea. The Rhine had always been important, first as the northern inner frontier of the Roman Empire, then as the vital waterway that carried goods north and south, and after thousands of years the Rhine still had a role to play in human affairs. The normally well-behaved river was swollen with a week's worth of rainwater and was carrying all manner of debris downstream. That included a blue Volkswagen, which crashed into the temporary bridge and was pinned there for a moment before being sucked downriver. Quinn knew that Army engineers referred to spans like the one in front of her as a ponton, rather than a pontoon bridge, because the nerds liked to distinguish between the structure, the ponton, and the floats that held it up, the pontoons. And the Russian ponton was a 2-lane monster. Judging from what Quinn could see, sections of the span had been laid across the hulls of flat-decked boats which, when hooked together, could support trucks and tanks. "So that's it?" Hollis inquired as he joined her. "That's what we came for?" "Yes," Quinn replied. "That's what we came for. The Allies put something similar in place during World War II. It's about a mile from here, and there were more at various locations along the Rhine." "You know a lot of stuff," Hollis observed. "I was stationed in Germany when the war began," Quinn told him, "and I have a degree in European history. Look at the center of the span. What do you see?" Hollis stared. "The water is pushing it downstream." "Exactly," Quinn agreed. "And how much pressure can the bridge take before it breaks?" "I don't know," Hollis admitted.